All right, what do you say we put the nail in the coffin for this one? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite mask collector's favorite mask collector, AJ Good, here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And yeah, I'm using the mic again. Why? Because you, I want to. It's my channel.
And not yours.
Well, today's video is going to be a pretty long one, so you might as well make yourselves comfortable. Maybe grab a snack, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. There's going to be a lot of talking in this one. I've got quite the story to tell. And for anybody that's new here, maybe this is your first time seeing the channel. Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy your stay. My name is AJ Good. I am the owner, operator of the House of Masks. What is the House of Masks? Well, it's a few things. It is my actual physical collection of masks. I own a church in Southern Ohio, and I have filled it to the brim with my museum. And basically, I own the largest mask collection in the world, the largest Halloween mask collection in the world, and more specifically, probably the reason that you clicked on this video, I own the largest Slipknot mask collection in the world, and that is everything from replicas to old school originals to stage-used masks, which is specifically what we are talking about today. And aside from that, I mean, the House of Masks is the channel that you're watching, it is the Instagram account that I run where I showcase all of these things, etc. The list just goes on and on. It's a big umbrella of all things masks and all things that I do. So I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you stick around, and yeah, let's get on into today's video. So in today's video, we are going to be expanding on the full circle story and topic that I was able to tell with Sid a few videos back. That video did really, really well, and if you haven't seen it, you should probably go over and watch it. It is my favorite video of the year. I am going on record and saying that that will probably be the video of the year for 2025, and I'm just really proud of that one because everything went wrong for me that day, and somehow we were still able to squeeze out a really good, really wholesome video with a lot of informative type things. Like, it was an educational video, it was an entertaining video, it was a video with Sid, and it was a video where we acquired a new stage-used piece, and we were able to give Sid something to use in the future. So all around, great video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But if you have seen it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the Full Circle moniker. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, that is basically the too long didn't read version of what I am about to explain to you. And then at the end of the video, we will go in depth and take a nice up close, detailed look at my newest stage used piece, the gold British civilian duty gas mask from Sid Wilson, which was used for the 25th anniversary cycle. I've got it right here, and we will take a nice good look at it at the end of the video, but you gotta wait. You gotta let me sift through this big long story that's been 25 years in the making and that just means a lot to me, okay? So here we go, and don't say I didn't warn you. Short form content. This is the real deal. So about 25 years ago, it was either late 99 or early 2000s, I was 6 years old. I was in my house flipping through a Rolling Stone magazine because my grandmother owned a salon and she had magazines sent there for her clients to read in the lobby, and Rolling Stone always had a plethora of Kid Rock articles or Limp Bizkit articles, and that meant that I got to see Wes Borland. I loved Wes Borland. I loved Limp Bizkit. Wes Borland was definitely my first real theatrical musician love. I was just obsessed with Wes Borland. So I was scrolling through this Rolling Stone magazine looking for photos of Wes Borland, and I stumbled across a page that featured Slipknot. This shot here was my first ever glimpse at what would eventually end up consuming my life and really kind of creating the life that I live right now. It was this shot right here, and I was instantly hooked. I was just so intrigued and enthralled with what I was seeing. I knew that there was something special about the masks that these guys were wearing and the jumpsuits that these guys were wearing and the poses and mannerisms that they were able to convey through these photos. And I know that sounds silly because I was a little 6-year-old kid, but I just knew from the second that I saw that wasn't the end. There was definitely more to be seen. So along with the photo was an article which I tried to read, but honestly, I just wasn't able to grasp the topics at hand. Like, they were talking about how liberating it was to set themselves on fire, and I didn't even know what the word liberated meant, so the article didn't do much for me, but I knew that I was intrigued enough to want to listen to this band, so I asked my mom if it would be okay if I listened to one of their songs. So she went into our computer, which, by the way, this is crazy. It's one of the only times in our lives that we had a computer up until the point that I was like 16 years old. So we grew up really, really poor, and having a computer in the house with internet access was not common at all. I don't know how or why the timing worked out on that, but it's crazy to think that this video wouldn't even be being made right now if I didn't have access to the computer to listen to this song. So my mom goes in, she watches the Wait and Bleed music video on Yahoo Launch, which definitely dates this story. Does anybody out there remember Yahoo Launch? Each artist had their own page. It was kind of cool. It was honestly like a music MySpace long before MySpace. Really crazy to think how different life could be if we just happened to not have a computer at that time. Anyways, she calls me into the computer room, the dining room, whatever it was, and she's like, hey, you can watch this music video, but don't click on anything else because I haven't like proof watched it to make sure that it's kid friendly or whatever. So I sit down and I watch and listen to Wait and Bleed. And dude, I am not lying or exaggerating when I said that from the second that that thing started playing and Corey is standing there and he's like addressing the crowd and he looks so cool and the music video has this crazy filter over it, dude, I knew from that second that everything had changed. Like nothing would be the same for me. I obviously didn't know what that meant and how big that would actually be, but I knew that everything had changed from that moment. I mean, it was the video, the mannerisms, the live performance, the way that the band looked, the name of the band, the logo of the band. I just knew. So I'm watching this video over and over and over. It's hard to tell how many times I sat there and watched that video and listened to that song, and I get the bright idea that, hey, I want a mask. I want to feel like a Slipknot member, right? I mean, that's just kind of the thing that happens when you get into Slipknot. So I'm talking to my mom and I'm like, dude, I want a mask. And she's like, you know what? I bet Matt has a mask. Now, Matt at the time was my dad's best friend. They were best friends all throughout high school. They stayed best friends into adulthood, and I'm still very, very close with Matt Shipley. He was essentially like my uncle growing up, and now he is one of my best friends. We still are very, very close, and we share a lot of the same things. He's really kind of super responsible for shaping me into the person that I am today and kind of giving me a lot of the interests that have followed me throughout my entire life. So huge shout out to Matt. Anyways, my mom's like, I'm sure that Shipley probably has a mask laying around. Why don't you call him and ask if he's got one? I'm like, cool. So I call Shipley up, which from his perspective was probably the weirdest phone call that he's ever received. His best friend's 6-year-old son randomly hitting him up on like a Tuesday evening asking if he has any masks laying around. And it's something that a lot of people probably would have just blown off. Like, who cares? This kid's like calling and bothering me about a mask. But he said, you know what? I'm pretty sure that my parents have a mask up in their attic. I'll have to go up there and see if I can find it. And I didn't know what this meant for me. I mean, he could have just forgotten as soon as he got off the phone. He could have remembered and not cared and not gone up and looked for that mask. And then even if he found the mask, it's like, who's to say that he's ever going to get it to me? But lo and behold, he shows up to my house a few hours later, and he's got this thing. And this is what started it all. I genuinely could not believe that he walked into my kitchen and handed me this. And the reason for that is because in the Wait and Bleed music video, this is the mask that Sid was wearing. The DJ of the band was wearing this exact mask in that music video. And obviously, when he brought the mask over, it looked a little different. It still had the canister on the front there, so we took that filter off, and it had some really, really bad straps on it. These leather straps got added way, way, way later into my teen years down the road when I found a Slipknot mask community, thanks to YouTube. But yeah, he brought this thing over. I was just absolutely amazed and enthralled because, one, what a cool thing for him to do, and two, what are the odds that he brings me over a random gas mask that just so happens to be the same one that a member in the music video that I saw that day was wearing in said music video. That's just so crazy to me already, but it let me know that these things were obtainable, and that is really where this whole thing started, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. I said this was going to be a long one, and I meant it. So, my first mask is a Slipknot mask. How cool is that? And then it was just game over from that point. Now, back then, obviously, like I said, we didn't have a lot of money, and the internet really didn't exist in my life. We maybe had that desktop setup for 5-6 months, and then it vanished until I was a teenager. Well, later on, I did discover that YouTube is cool, and there were other people posting their collections, and the entire channel kind of manifested itself from that. It was a really, really organic thing that happened. But I want to talk about what happened after the channel was established, thanks to this mask, thanks to that music video, thanks to Slipknot, and thanks to Sid Wilson. So, we've established that this is my first mask. I got this as a little kid, so we are right on track here, okay? So fast forward 20-something years, Slipknot is obviously my life. They have given me my career. I mean, we cover all things mask on the channel. We do everything from slasher villains to vintage mask finds in the wild to other theatrical bands, Buckethead, we've done Ghost, we do Batushka, Gwar is a huge part of it. We cover a lot of stuff, but I would say that the majority of people out there found me through the machine that is Slipknot. It is my biggest draw, it is my biggest collection, they are my longest time love, and I would say that they probably are my favorite band. I know that I've said back and forth, you know, it's like a tie with Gwar and stuff, but at the end of the day, Slipknot has just absolutely consumed my life and really given me my life. So we're like pretty deep into the House of Masks. So wouldn't you know it, one day Sid Wilson hits me up and he is like mentoring me, and it wasn't a great conversation. He was disappointed in me, and I felt so low about letting my idol like down, man. It really bummed me out. But he wasn't like being mean, he was just giving me constructive criticism, and I listened. And I'm really glad that I listened, because it would have been easy for a younger me to be like, you know, like that, you know, whatever, I'll do what I want. Like, Slipknot gave me this mentality of like, do whatever I want, say what I need to say, yada, yada, yada. But I'm glad that I had the foresight to listen to him, because that opened the door for Sid to start with me, like really establishing a relationship, which started as a business relationship. Sid hit me up around the first Pale Fest, and he was like, hey, how would you feel about doing collaborative merch for Pale Fest? It'll be like a Sid the Third X Pale Fest one-off thing, and I'll send one of my guys out there, and he'll just kind of check the scene out, see how Pale Fest is, he'll hand this stuff out, and it'll be good to go, right? And I'm like, dude, that would be incredible. That'd be amazing. I would love that. I would feel super, super honored about that. So that's what we did. And he must have seen something in it, because a couple of weeks later, he was hitting me up, asking me if we could put on a show for Swollen Teeth. It was going to be Swollen Teeth's like first real concert, and I had never booked a show in my life. I had never been a promoter. I had never done any of that, and I had like 2 weeks to figure it out. And you better believe I figured it out, because when Sid Wilson hits you up and says, hey, I want to do this, you're in charge, you just got to do what you got to do. And we did it, man. We made a sold-out Swollen Teeth, like whatever you want to call that, debut show. I know that they played like a little house show before that, but this was like the real deal, man. And it was real enough, and Sid believed enough that he trusted me with all that, and then he showed up. He showed up to host it. He was the first member to show up at the House of Masks, the first member to visit the collection, and that just was really, really crazy to me. Like, that was a turning point, and he definitely didn't have to do that. He's in Slipknot. He doesn't need to, like, make friends with some fanboy or work with some fanboy, and I just really kind of can't believe that that worked out the way that it did. We're already falling into the full circle thing, right? Like, first mask is a Sid mask. Yep. First member to come visit is Sid. First member to give me a stage-used piece was Sid, because a couple of weeks after Pale Fest, he also sent me out a piece that I really, really loved. It was the We Are Not Your Kind visor. I loved that look. I just loved that look, and maybe he noticed, maybe he saw that in a video, and maybe he wanted to say thanks for Pale Fest and the Swollen Teeth show, and that's how he did it. And again, forever grateful. So now we've established that my first mask is the British civilian duty gas mask that Sid was wearing in Wait and Bleed, which, by the way, was Sid's first mask in the band. And we've also established that Sid was the first member to really start with the House of Masks. He started collaborating with me. He was the first member to come to the House of Masks, and he was the first member to give me a stage-used mask, which is the end game. That's the holy grail of Slipknot mask collecting. It is almost like the unobtainable, and he did it. He made that happen, and that was a 22, 23-year-long dream and goal at that point. So we've done all of this stuff with Sid, and wouldn't you know it, we're not done yet, because not only does he come to PaleFest the next year as a guest, and it was amazing, and I have a lot of good memories from that. Like, watching Sid Wilson scratch at my festival is insane, and standing over a balcony with Sid, and he's telling you, dude, you did it. It's legit. Look at this. You did it. That is amazing. Words could never, ever describe that. And then, again, wouldn't you know it, a couple of months later, the 25th anniversary is approaching for the self-titled record. Sid calls me up, and he's like, dude, I've got an idea. And I'm like, okay, hit me. And he's like, I want to do a gold mask. And I'm like, sick. We can definitely find something that looks like gold. And he's like, nope, you don't understand. I want a real, solid gold mask. And I'm like, man, I've never, ever heard of anything like that in my life, but we're going to figure this out. And that's what I did. I started kind of making the connections, figuring out exactly who I wanted on this team. Joshua Everett was my first go-to guy. He was my first choice. He is just a wizard at the craft, and honestly, I think that he could snap his fingers and make something miraculous happen out of thin air. So huge shout out to Joshua Everett. We were able to figure this out. And it's kind of funny the way that this thing worked out, too, because he obviously wanted to do some sort of like tribute piece to the original gas mask. I mean, he uses the BCD as his logo. It is definitely his most well-known mask. It was probably his most used mask as well. And he wanted to pay homage to that by doing it in solid gold. So as we were figuring that out, we realized that it's just something that's never been done before. It was something that was going to take a lot of work, a lot of research, and a lot of trial and error, and we ended up having to go through a pretty big deal company to get it done. And when I say big deal, I mean high profile, crazy clientele. They make solid gold statues and stuff for Trump, and that's not a joke or an exaggeration. It was crazy, but the 25th anniversary was getting closer and closer, so we had to create essentially a double, a stunt mask, a backup mask, and this would end up being the main mask that Sid used for a lot of the shows. I mean, he definitely used it for the first few shows, and I think that it got used all the way up until the Madison Square Garden show, and I think that because that is when and where we finally got the actual solid gold mask delivered. So for the debut show, for the Sick New World show in Vegas, for Sonic Temple in Columbus 2024, I mean, there's just a bunch in between there that I'm not thinking of. This is what he was wearing, and that's pretty crazy, dude. Like, this thing has some legit wear and tear. So, for instance, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but on the outer flange of the lens screws there, you can kind of see where some chrome is showing through, and that's because that entire chunk actually broke off of the mask, and Sid was like freaking out. He was like, we need to get this fixed before you show it off, and I was like, dude, that is the stuff that I want. The natural use and abuse, the wear and tear, the dents and dings, that is what shows that this thing has been put to use, and that is what it's all about. We love masks that are heavily weathered, and we love masks that have definitely been well loved and used. There's also like a missing eyelet on that strap right there, you can probably see, and then just the straps in general, you can tell, have definitely been rode hard and put away wet. These top straps are very, very warped and pretty grody. So yeah, dude, it's definitely seen its day for sure. But my history with this mask is so sick because not only was I involved in creating it, and Sid trusted me to kind of help bring this thing to life, but I got to see it all the time. Like, Sid invited me to the debut show of the 25th anniversary cycle, the pop-up show out in the desert, and within 24 hours, I was like, I'm not going to that show, to I'm on a flight and I'm in the desert with my friends and I get to see this thing come out on stage and debut for the first time. Crazy. And stuff like that still to this day doesn't seem real. It's like, yeah, I did it and I have the memories and stuff, but when I'm like making these videos and I'm telling you guys about these stories, it's wild. So yeah, I get to go see it in the desert. And then we're like, hey, f it, let's go to Vegas and watch him in Sick New World. So we get to do that too. And that was the first time that I really got to see this thing up close. I was backstage, me and Sid were hanging out. I'm just kind of like really looking over the mask, and I'm like, that is crazy. And it's this mask right here. That is my mask in these photos, in these videos. And then we go to Sonic Temple, same thing. I just had the best day of my life up there at Sonic Temple. It was the first time that I got to see Slipknot side stage, which was really, really cool. And I'm just watching this mask that I know that I'm going to own one day, just doing its thing, dude, like serving its purpose and being a part of Slipknot history. And I just think that's really, really cool. And a fun fact about this mask and that Sonic Temple date is that earlier that day, I met with Sid at his hotel, and we were doing some work with some other stuff, and he brought this mask out, and I was just kind of looking it over and holding it, and I eventually put it on, and I went to take a picture in it, and Sid was like, dude, no pictures in that thing. And I thought he was messing with me because he's a troll. So I'm like trying to figure out if he's serious or not. He's like, I'm so serious. And I'm like, I still can't tell, dude. Like, this is what you get for always messing with me. Now it's like Boy That Cried Wolf. And he's like, I've never messed with you. And I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, I am for real. Like, no one needs to see that. I know it's your mask, but it's my mask right now. And I'm the one putting energies into that. And he's like, for what? What's the selfie? Just to post on Instagram and get some likes? He's like, just let it be yours when it's yours, and then let that be the thing. And he was right. And that made it even more special because I've known the whole time that this thing was coming to me, and I had to keep it a secret. And it was a cool secret to keep and something to really look forward to. And I do still think that he's true as shit to all of this with the whole, like, he does put energies into this, and he was serious about, like, that's my mask. It doesn't need to be posted like that. Like just wait for it. And I really, really like that. So it's just another little fun story about the mask that no one really knows about. And you can actually see in that video, once we started filming in his hotel room, he tried to show the mask, and I was like covering it up. And that was just part of the joke of like not showing people the mask. So yeah, dude. We shot that full circle video, which is something that I really, really cared about and something that I have been thinking about for a long time. And here we are at the end of that chapter. I've got the mask here now. This is essentially my unboxing and review of the mask, and I'm obviously going to leave you guys with some up-close shots of this piece. It'll be the first time that we've ever done anything like that with this mask, and that will just put a nice little bow on this 25-year-long story. Full circle story, and how fitting that all of this is about me and Sid and my relationship with Sid, and Sid's number is quite literally a full circle. He is number 0, everything and nothing, the filth epitome, the full circle. I just think that you can't write stuff like that, and that is my life. Like, this is something that has happened that I can have forever, and I get to tell this story to you guys, and how blessed and lucky and accomplished do I feel for all the hard work and just kind of never conforming to anything that I didn't want to. And I got that mentality from Slipknot. So a massive shout out to Slipknot. Thank you for everything. And the biggest thank you to Sid, who has just gone above and beyond for me and for the House of Masks. And, you know, I've gotten to do all these dreams and goals, and I've gotten cool stuff like this for my collection. But at the end of the day, I really gained a big brother and a mentor and somebody that I know that every time I'm around them, I'm going to learn something and take something away from the interaction. So yeah, I think that's it, man. I said everything that I wanted to say. I don't think that I am leaving anything out. And this is how I wanted to end this. So there's a good chance that we have another pretty big, pretty crazy stage use Slipknot score coming into the collection this year. I'm really, really trying to make that happen. It's something that I've been waiting on for a very long time. But for right now, this is the grail, and I love all of my stage-used pieces. You know, it was crazy getting my first stage-used piece from Sid. It was even crazier getting my second stage-used piece from Sid, because we did that at something that we put on together in front of a giant crowd. And again, it was another mask that I liked a lot and really, really cared about. It was crazy getting a piece from Jay Weinberg at PaleFest, and I have one of my all-time holy grails with the All Hope Is Gone clown. But I think that this is the one. Like, it's written in history. This one was meant to be. it's full circle. I don't know what else to say about it. So with all of that being said, thank you guys very, very much for not only watching this video, but for being here with me through thick and thin, through everything, the ups and downs, the goods, the bads, everything, man. I really, really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to leave you with some nice up-close shots of the new Holy Grail. Again, thank you. I love you. And until next time, this has been AJ Good telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to following your dreams. And we will see you guys in the next one.